Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. So Brad Pauls is the new British middleweight champion. He completed his little trilogy that he wanted, which was the area level, the English, and now he's got the British. And of course, this was a rematch against Nathan Heaney. He stopped Heaney in the final round of this fight, barely a minute in, I think it was. They fought to a draw back in March. Heaney was undefeated coming in, 18-0 and 1. Pauls was 18-1 and 1. He lost to Tyler Denny. That's his only defeat on points. And at 31, Brad Pauls, he turned pro in 2015. This is his dream come true. And who's to say he can't, pick up the Commonwealth, go for the EBU? It doesn't have to end here. He's still young enough. For Nathan Heaney, fought his heart out. 35 years old, probably an overachiever, you might say. I mean, that win against Denzel Bentley was tremendous, even if you allow for the fact that Bentley looked kind of out of sorts in that fight. Still a great win. But, all good things must come to an end. So the fight was the first 3 rounds. I mean, Heaney seemed to have a far more sensible plan than in the first fight. I mean, he was keeping it long, jabbing nicely. He's very, very, very textbook, Nathan Heaney, and probably doesn't have the most natural talent, but maximises what he does have and works on fitness. And for 3 rounds, you got the feeling that Heaney really had a game plan and Pauls didn't. Pauls was sort of trudging along, not really doing much. Heaney was a bit lazy with the jab, and that was coming back to haunt him, because in the 4th round, Pauls stepped in just as Heaney was firing a lazy jab. He stepped in, caught Heaney on the side of the jaw and sat Heaney down. And then the rest of the round definitely belonged to Pauls. He chased after Heaney. Heaney was okay. It wasn't a flash knockdown, but it wasn't a massively hurtful one. Heaney got up, lost the 5th, I thought. So on points, even though it's 5 rounds over, I had it level on points, 10-8 obviously in the 4th. And then it became a gruelling give and take sort of fight, with Heaney for long periods managing to keep Pauls contained. He's only got 6 KOs in 18 wins, Heaney, so he's not a big puncher. But he was when he was keeping it long, it was fine. And Pauls, you got the feeling, wasn't doing enough. He wasn't putting too much pressure on, or enough pressure on. He was at times, he wasn't throwing enough punches, quite simply. But when he did quicken his feet and get in close, his feet were too slow for a lot of the fights in the early rounds. When he did quicken his feet and got in close, there was a big gap on Heaney's left-hand side for Pauls again to fire that jab over. There was some good bodywork going in there as well from Pauls, which seemed to be sapping Heaney. And after 8 rounds, with a third of the fight to go, you thought, okay, it's the fight is pretty much even and pretty much up for whoever wants it most. Now in the 9th and 10th, I thought, even though Pauls was at times he was still landing punches consistently throughout the fight. He did land flush punches, but Heaney's got a good chin. I did feel in the 9th and the 10th that maybe Heaney was perhaps doing enough technically to sort of pinch the rounds. Again, Pauls not firing enough punches as you wanted to see him fire. But then in the 11th, he caught Heaney and shook him badly. Heaney didn't go over, but he was basically battering Nathan all over the place. And, it was, you were thinking, what's going on here? This is bad. And Heaney, sort of staggered back to the corner at the end of the 11th, and he thought, that guy is just absolutely drained. And so it proved, because Pauls must have sensed this, because he came out in that final round on a mission, chased Heaney around, battered him, got him on the ropes, landed all sorts of punches that eventually, it's just a salvo of punches, an avalanche of punches that put Heaney over. Heaney sort of faced outside the ring. He hurled himself up, but it was a bit too late. I think he was just exhausted. I did get the feeling he probably could have beaten the count, but he had nothing left. It was just absolute exhaustion. He barely knew where he was. And I think the referee, he did beat the count by like half a second maybe, and the referee called it a TKO. But Heaney was spent. He was done. And the celebrations began, and Paul's, of course, this is his dream come true. But Nathan Heaney, I mean, he probably has gone as far as he can go now. Does he want to continue at 35? I tell you what, if he doesn't, I'm going to miss those intros, those Delilah intros. What a fantastic atmosphere he creates with that brilliant song. I mean, I'm someone who absolutely hates Sweet Caroline. I can't stand that song, but Delilah, I love it because I think my mum had it when I was a kid. So I grew up listening to that song. It's fantastic, and Tom Jones' version is so stirring, So I'm going to miss the old ring walks, and he's given everything to the game. Nathan Heaney. I mean, he turned pro when he was 28. Probably overachieved, and he's been British champ. He's won a few other, I think he's been area champ, and he's won like an IBO intercontinental thing or whatever the bloody hell it was. But that British title, he's in the record books, and for Brad Pauls now that he's won the area, the English and the British again. Why not go for the Commonwealth? Why not go for the EBU? He's got time. He's 31, whereas at 35, Nathan Heaney might be at the end now. But we'll see. We'll see. So it's a great fight. I mean, give and take. Real top fight. But Pauls deserved the win. And yeah, what did you think of it? Let me know. It was the headline of the latest Magnificent 7 card from Frank Warren and Queensbury. Let me know what you thought. Comments below. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. It makes sense. I always appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Not a bad evening's boxing, actually. But, yeah. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.